Florida representative and possible child sex trafficker Matt Gaetz, who is in fact being investigated for alleged sex trafficking of a minor, failed to disclose income he earned from sales of his book. So apparently he wrote a book. That's probably the most shocking part of this story. But he didn't disclose what he earned after writing the book and selling it. So last year, last year, Representative Matt Gaetz, a Republican of Florida, wrote a book titled Firebrand, Dispatches from the Front Lines of the MAGA Revolution. Gaetz's profits couldn't initially be found in the financial disclosure. So when his team was asked about the lack of disclosure, a Gaetz spokesperson said that the office needed, quote, additional documentation, end quote, from the publisher and was in the process of receiving that information and amending the disclosure. So later they did amend the disclosure. And is it because they were just trying to hide the amount of income that Matt Gaetz was making? No, they were just trying to hide the fact that the book was so bad. It was such a flop that it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
That Matt Gaetz didn't want people to, that is my speculation.
My speculation is that he's used to most of his financial information being transmitted via Venmo. And like stuff like with paperwork is too complicated. It's like, I just want to be able to scroll. There it is, there's the girl. Yeah, it's that sort of thing.
Yeah, you might be right. Maybe we need to do a full-on investigation into his Venmo transactions. No, but his book failed. I mean, again,
how bad?
The title of the book is Firebrand, Dispatches from the Front Lines of the MAGA Revolution. Okay. So, let me give you more context. So Gaetz reported that his publishing contract awarded him 60% royalties, a share normally reserved for online distributor sales of self-published work, and more than double the typical hardcover royalty rates. House rules require lawmakers to request permission from ethics officials to accept royalties, which can be granted if the publishing deal is under usual and customary contractual terms. Moreover, on a closer look, the disclosures show that the book was a fail, an absolute fail. The new amended disclosure claims that Gaetz earned exactly $25,000 from book sales last year after giving 30% of his personal profits to his agent. If Gaetz's $25,000 claim and publishing terms are accurate, the disclosure indicates that Firebrand didn't exactly burn up the charts. His reported profits suggest the memoir brought in a total of about $59,500 between August and December. This is my favorite part. Netting his contracted publisher, Post Hill Press, a little less than $15,000.
Yeah, so
it's very bad.
The champagne at the parties this quarter is not going to be all that fancy. No, that's not very good. So how many books is that?
No one likes Matt Gaetz.
No,
I'll answer your question in a second, but like literally, no one likes Matt Gaetz. Republican lawmakers don't like Matt Gaetz, which is why none of them, with the exception of like Marjorie Taylor Greene, supported him and decided to vouch for him after the DOJ investigation was announced for potential child sex trafficking.
Louis Gohmert hung out with him briefly when they tried to get into that prison. And look, this should not be a surprise to anyone. First of all, as you point out, most Republicans don't seem to really like him. But that said, it's not like Matt Gaetz doesn't ever draw a at least small crowd. They've been going around the country. It's the saddest buddy comedy ever filmed. But they occasionally have some people show up. But even those people, like, can you imagine those people like going home from a Matt Gaetz rally and then thinking, I want to ponder his thoughts. I want to read 250 pages of what Matt Gaetz has to say about, or what some guy that Matt Gaetz paid $2,000 to write this book has to say about it. I just don't see it happening. And look, honestly, this is why we see the pattern that I've laid out in videos before. They buy their books themselves. That's all it is, because there's not enough people. Like, if you like Matt Gaetz, what do you like about Matt Gaetz? You like that he goes on Fox News and says something crazy. Maybe you're jealous of him because he seems to be getting away with the child stuff, and you personally are interested in that. Like, you like him because he's a firebrand or the fake version of it or whatever. A firebrand that has nothing to do with policy whatsoever. He trolls people, you like it. How does that translate into, I want to read 300 pages of what this guy has to say about politics and society?
It's a memoir.
Not at all.
It's a book about himself.
Yeah, Yeah, you read his tweet, you don't read his book.
So, should we give him credit for not buying copies of his own book?
Sure.
Okay.
No, actually,
not fair.
No, but it's
super fair.
No, but Anna, this ties back to what you were saying. Yeah. They don't like him. Look, Ted Cruz apparently bought a bunch of his own copies of his book, but generally what it is it's the think tanks and things like that. They'll buy a big amounts. The PACs do to give away to donors or whatever. But that you have to have other people in the party that like you for that to happen.
Oof. John Iadarola coming in with that crushing blow. I tried to.
Why did Marjorie Greene buy some? Oh, they are books. That's true. But like he's got one friend, throw him 1,000 copies, come on.
I just love the fact that he didn't disclose it because of how embarrassing it is.
I know, that's really sad.
We're gonna find out, Maddie. We're gonna find out.
You know what I would love to see, and this is so not self-interested. When I finally release my fantasy that just has anthropomorphic animals in it, if we could sell more copies than Matt Gaetz, that'd be pretty funny. I will disclose all the finances if that happens. If it doesn't, I won't.
Are you gonna publish that?
I don't know, we'll see. Probably.
You know he's written books that he hasn't published. Like he spent all this time writing books that he refuses to publish. John's crazy.
I just haven't gotten a deal with a PAC yet that'll buy them. I have feelers out for Ted Cruz, but so far nothing. I say that I will name one of the possums in the book after him. But no, he's not doing it.
He would be the possum character for sure.
I'll base one off of his beard. I'll do that.
No offense to possums, but
yeah,
not the cutest creatures.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.